Lesson number 25, the speed of the CPU. By the end of this lesson, you should identify units in which the speed of the CPU and data storage are measured. The Central Processing Unit, CPU, also referred to as the central processor or main processor, is the electronic device of the computer system that executes instructions of computer programs. The CPU performs basic arithmetic, logic, controlling, and input or output operations. In order for the CPU to complete an internal operation, it takes one cycle. The speed of the CPU is measured in Hertz. Measuring the speed of the CPU is based on the number of cycles it completes in 1 second. The more the cycles it completes per second, the faster it is. Therefore, 1 Hertz is equal to 1 cycle per second. One million cycles per second adds up to a megahertz. Therefore, a processor with the speed of 600 megahertz can process 6 million cycles in 1 second. You should also note that the speed of the CPU is also referred to as the clock speed. Hence, the higher the clock speed, the faster the CPU processes data or information. Not only is the speed of the CPU measured in hertz and megahertz, but also in gigahertz. 1 gigahertz is equal to 1 billion cycles in 1 second. You should also note that most modern computers come with CPUs whose speed is measured in gigahertz, such as 1.5, 2.6, or 3 gigahertz and so on. Now, let's discuss units of storage. Inside the CPU, memory is arranged in cells. Each cell has its own address. You should take note that each cell accommodates only 8 bits. 8 bits makes 1 byte. A byte can only store 1 character, like a letter, number, mathematical symbol, or a punctuation mark. Talking of processing and storage of data or information, the computer uses binary digits 0 and 1. These two numbers are also called bits, which is short for binary digits. The memory capacity of storage devices and computers to store data, instructions, and information is expressed in bytes. The following table shows measurements of memory and storage capacity expressed in bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. Summary. In this lesson, you learned that CPU speed is measured in Hertz and that the CPU takes 1 cycle to complete an internal operation. You further learned that the more cycles the CPU complete in 1 second, the faster it is. Lastly, you learned that computers use binary digits to process and store information, and that data storage capacity is measured in bits, bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, and so on. Revision exercise. A. The speed of the CPU is measured in. B. What is the relationship between clock cycles and the speed of the CPU? C. With examples, describe measurements of data storage capacity.